The dog didn't sleep, and every time the metal clanged in the dark, Cole's body reacted before his mind could catch up. The wire snapped tight around Koda's leg, and Cole dropped to his knees in the dirt, fingers already working the blood-slick metal loose while the engine of a black SUV idled behind him. Someone was watching. Koda didn't look at the pain, only at the forest, like the real threat wasn't here yet. What do you think was out there? The last of the mourners had already drifted down the long gravel drive, their headlights swallowed by the gray Montana dusk. The wind moved low across the open fields, bending the tall grass in slow waves, the kind that used to calm Cole Barrett when he was a kid. Now it just sounded like something moving where it shouldn't. Cole stood at the iron gate of the ranch, his dress shirt still stiff from the funeral, sleeves rolled halfway up his forearms. The place looked the same wraparound porch, same barn leaning slightly to the west, but something felt off before he even stepped closer. Then he saw it. A fresh keypad, clean metal, no dust. He stopped 10 feet short. His thumb hovered over the old code out of habit. 4 digits he'd punched 1,000 times growing up. He pressed them anyway. Nothing. A red light blinked once. Final. Cole didn't move for a few seconds. His jaw tightened, but his face stayed still. Down the road, a pickup door slammed somewhere far off, echoing across the valley. For a split second, his shoulders tensed, muscles locking, breath held, like he was back in an alley halfway across the world, waiting for contact. The feeling passed. Mostly. "Sir, you need to step back from the gate." The voice came from the speaker mounted above the keypad. Male.
State your business.
Flat.
Leave the premises immediately.
Not local. Cole glanced up slowly. "This is my house."
You need to open the gate.
There was a pause. Then a second voice in the background, muffled. A decision being made. "Mrs. Barrett has instructed us not to allow entry. You'll need to contact her attorney." Cole let out a short breath through his nose. Not quite a laugh. Of course she had. He looked past the gate, up the long drive toward the house. Lights were on inside. Warm, yellow, movement behind the curtains. People he didn't know walking through rooms he grew up in. He didn't try the code again. Gravel crunched behind him. Cole turned, already shifting his weight, instinct placing his body at an angle, half ready, half guarded. A black sedan rolled up slow and stopped a few yards away. The engine idled too quietly. The passenger door opened. Diane Barrett stepped out like she'd rehearsed it. Black coat, perfect posture, not a strand of hair out of place. "Cole," she said, like they'd just passed each other at a grocery store. He didn't answer. She walked closer but stopped well outside arm's reach. Always just far enough. "I wasn't sure you'd come," she added. "He was my father." "Yes," she said lightly. "Of course." The wind picked up again, tugging at the edges of her coat. She didn't react to it. "There's no need to make this difficult," she continued. "Everything's been handled, legally, cleanly." Cole's eyes flicked past her to the driver still sitting in the car, watching. He looked back at her. "You changed the locks before the ground settled." A small smile touched her lips. Not warm. "I secured what needed securing." She reached into her bag and pulled out a thin envelope. Plain, unremarkable. She held it between 2 fingers like it barely weighed anything. "This is yours." Cole didn't take it right away. "What is it?" "Everything he left you." That almost got a reaction. Almost. Cole stepped forward and took the envelope. It felt light. Too light. Paper. A single key inside. He could feel the outline through the thin material. No weight. No life. Behind Diane, the rear door of the sedan opened again. A dog stepped out slowly. Old German Shepherd. Gray around the muzzle, one ear slightly bent at the tip. It paused beside the car, scanning the open land, then fixed its eyes on Cole. Didn't bark. Didn't move. Just watched. "That's his too," Diane said, glancing back with mild annoyance. He insisted. Cole looked down at the dog. The dog looked back like it already knew him. "You can take it," she added. "Or don't. It doesn't matter to me." The wind carried the smell of dry earth and something faintly metallic. Cole didn't notice it consciously, but his shoulders shifted again, just a fraction. He opened the envelope. A deed. Coordinates. A location deep in the mountains. No house listed. No structure. Just land. Worthless land. His thumb brushed the edge of the paper. The key slid slightly inside the envelope, tapping against his knuckle. "That's it?" he said. Diane adjusted her sleeve. "You're free to do whatever you like with it." The dog took one slow step forward. Cole glanced down again. Same steady gaze. Waiting. He folded the paper once and slid it back into the envelope. Behind the gate, someone laughed inside the house. Loud. Comfortable. Cole didn't look up. "Yeah," he said quietly. "Guess I am." He turned away from the ranch. The dog followed. Not because it was told to, because it had already decided. And as Cole walked down the gravel road with nothing but a thin envelope and a stranger of a dog at his side, one thought settled in, quiet and heavy. His father had left him something. The question was, why this? Cole didn't look back at the ranch again. By the time the gravel road met the highway, the sky had dropped into that flat, colorless blue that comes before real dark. His truck sat where he'd left it near an old gas station that hadn't bothered updating its sign in 20 years. He opened the driver's door. It creaked louder than it should have. The dog stopped a few feet away. Cole glanced at it. "You coming or not?" The German Shepherd didn't hesitate this time. It moved past him, climbed into the passenger seat, like it already knew the space and settled without a sound. Cole shut the door. For a while, neither of them moved. Wind pushed against the truck, rocking it just enough to feel if you were paying attention. Cole stared through the windshield, hands resting on the wheel, though the engine was still off. He pulled the envelope out again, looked at it, turned it over once. Still felt like nothing. He shoved it into the glove compartment and closed it harder than necessary. The dog's ears twitched. "Yeah," Cole muttered. "Doesn't add up." He started the engine. Let it idle. Didn't go anywhere. An hour later, the station lights flickered off one by one, leaving the lot in half shadow. Cole leaned the seat back, jacket pulled tight, boots still on. He didn't bother locking the doors. Sleep didn't come easy. It never did. Somewhere in the distance, something metal clanged, sharp, hollow. Cole was awake before the echo died. His hand moved fast, instinct cutting through sleep like a blade. He twisted sideways, body low, eyes scanning the dark through the window. Breath shallow. Listening. Another sound, softer. His fingers tightened around nothing. No rifle, no sidearm. Just air. For a second, the truck wasn't a truck anymore. It was tight walls, hot air, the smell of dust and fuel. Someone shouting over comms. Static. Then, incoming. The word hit hard, loud, like it came from inside his own skull. Cole jerked upright. The silence that followed felt wrong. Too clean, too empty. He dragged a hand down his face, forcing his breathing to slow. Counted it out the way he'd learned. In, hold, out. The dog hadn't moved. It was sitting upright now, not lying down, eyes open, fixed on something beyond the windshield, not the gas station, past it, toward the dark line of mountains cutting across the horizon. Cole followed its gaze. Nothing there. Just shadow stacked on shadow. "You hear something?" he asked quietly. The dog didn't look at him, just kept staring. Its ears angled forward, catching something Cole couldn't, or something too far away for him to notice. Cole shifted in his seat, discomfort crawling up his spine. That feeling again. The one that said something didn't line up. He cracked the window an inch. Cold air slipped in. Clean. Pine somewhere in it. The dog leaned slightly toward the opening, nostrils flaring. Then it let out a low sound. Not a bark. Not quite a growl. More like a warning it wasn't ready to explain. Cole stilled. "Out here, you paid attention to that kind of thing." He turned the engine off. Listened. Nothing. No tires. No footsteps. No voices. Just wind. Still, he didn't relax. Didn't lie back down either. He stayed sitting, watching the dark with the dog beside him, both of them facing the same direction without saying why. Time passed. Could have been minutes. Could have been an hour. At some point, the tension eased just enough for his eyes to close again. But even then, his body didn't settle. Every small noise, wind against metal, gravel shifting, something brushing the side of the truck, pulled him halfway back up. The dog never fully lay down again. It kept watch. Morning came slow. Gray light crept over the mountains, filling the sky without warmth. Cole opened his eyes before the sun cleared the ridge, neck stiff, back tight. He sat up. The dog was still facing the same direction, hadn't moved. Cole followed its line of sight again. The mountains, same as last night, same as before. He rubbed his jaw, thinking. "Yeah," he said under his breath. The envelope was still in the glove compartment. The key inside it pressed faintly against the paper like it was waiting. Cole reached over, opened it, pulled it out again. The coordinates, deep into the backcountry. No roads marked past a certain point. Nothing on record. He looked at the dog. The dog finally looked back. Just once. Then turned its head again toward the mountains, like it had already made the decision. Cole exhaled slowly. "Figures," he muttered. He started the truck. Didn't drive yet. Just let it idle as he stared out at the empty road ahead. Then, almost without thinking, his hand moved. He turned the wheel, not toward town, toward the narrow road that led up into the mountains. The dog didn't react. It didn't need to. It had been waiting for that choice all along. The road narrowed the farther Cole drove. Pavement gave way to cracked asphalt, then gravel, then something that barely deserved to be called a road at all. Pines closed in on both sides, tall and quiet, their shadows stretching across the path like long fingers. Cole eased off the gas. "Out here, speed got you hurt." He scanned without thinking. Tree line, ground cover, blind spots between bends. Old habits. The kind that never left, no matter how many miles you put between yourself and where you learned them. The truck's tires crunched over loose stone. Somewhere deeper in the woods, a branch snapped. Koda's head lifted. Cole noticed. "Yeah," he murmured. "I heard it." The dog shifted, sitting forward now, eyes fixed on the slope ahead. Not tense, not afraid, just aware. Cole slowed even more. He checked the mirrors. Nothing behind them but dust settling in the road they'd already left. He reached into the glove compartment again, pulled out the folded deed, rested it on the wheel long enough to glance at the coordinates, then back to the road. "This better be something," he said under his breath. The truck climbed higher. The air changed, cooler, thinner. The smell of pine sharpened. Patches of old snow still clung to shaded ground where the sun didn't reach. Another mile, then another. The road finally ended without warning. Just stopped. Ahead was a clearing, uneven and quiet. No tire tracks, no signs of recent use, just grass pushing through dirt and a line of trees beyond it. Cole cut the engine. Silence dropped hard. For a few seconds, neither of them moved. Then Koda jumped out. Didn't wait. Didn't look back. The dog moved straight toward the trees. Cole grabbed the envelope, the key slipping slightly in his grip as he climbed out. He shut the door quietly, out of habit, and listened. Wind through branches. Nothing else. Koda had already reached the edge of the clearing. It paused there, looking back once, just long enough to make sure Cole was coming. Then it disappeared into the woods. Cole followed. The ground underfoot was uneven, soft in places, packed hard in others. He adjusted his pace automatically, stepping where the terrain made sense, avoiding loose patches, keeping his weight balanced. The trees swallowed the light. He moved slower now, eyes scanning. Something felt off. Not wrong exactly, just used. A branch cut clean instead of broken. A faint depression in the ground that didn't match animal tracks. Old, maybe, but not natural. Cole crouched briefly, running his fingers over the dirt. Boot print, worn down. Days, maybe weeks old. He stood. "Knew it," he muttered. Koda was ahead, weaving through the trees without hesitation. It didn't zigzag like it was searching. It followed a line, direct, certain. Cole picked up his pace. The forest thinned just enough for light to break through, and then he saw it. A structure, low, half hidden by trees. Weathered wood darkened by years of exposure. The kind of place that shouldn't still be standing, but was. Cole stopped. It wasn't on the deed. There was no record of anything built out here. Yet there it was. A cabin. Koda didn't slow down. It trotted straight toward it. Cole's eyes moved quickly. Windows, roofline, door. Looking for movement, reflection, anything out of place. Then he saw it. A thin line of smoke rising from the chimney. Fresh, not old. Cole's body shifted instantly, weight forward, knees loose, ready. "Hey!" he called out, voice steady but controlled. "Anybody there?" No answer. Koda reached the porch. It didn't bark right away. It stood still, ears forward, head tilted slightly. Then, 2 short barks, sharp, controlled, not alarm. Signal. Cole stepped closer, slower now. Every sense stretched thin. His hand hovered near his side again, muscle memory reaching for something that wasn't there. The cabin door didn't move. The smoke kept rising. The forest held its breath. And then, from inside, a faint sound. Movement. Not scrambling. Not surprised. Deliberate. Cole's eyes narrowed. Koda stepped closer to the door, pawing once at the wood. Waiting. The handle turned. Slow. No rush. No fear. The door opened just enough to reveal a figure standing in the dim light inside. An older man, gray beard, heavy shoulders, eyes sharp. He didn't look surprised to see them, not even a little. Instead, he looked at Koda first, then at Cole, like he'd been expecting both of them. "Well," the man said calmly, resting one hand on the doorframe, "took you long enough." Cole didn't answer. didn't move. But something deep in his chest shifted. Not relief, not yet. Something closer to the feeling right before you realize the map you've been following was never the real one. And somehow, the dog had known that all along. Cole didn't step forward right away. He stayed where he was, just outside the reach of the porch, eyes locked on the man in the doorway. The angle of his stance shifted without thinking, shoulders slightly turned, weight balanced, giving himself space to move if he had to. The older man noticed, didn't comment on it. Koda broke the standoff first. The dog moved past Cole, slow and certain, and stopped at the man's boots. No barking this time, no warning, just a quiet presence like it had come home. The man's expression softened, barely. "Well, I'll be," he murmured, crouching down with a hand extended. "You found your way back, didn't you?" Koda stepped into the touch without hesitation. That was enough for Cole to move. He walked up onto the porch, boots creaking softly against the old wood. The smell hit him first. Smoke, cedar, something faintly metallic underneath. Lived in, not abandoned. "You know this dog?" Cole asked. The man stood again, slower this time, joints stiff but controlled. "I know the man who owned him." Cole's jaw tightened. "Yeah?" he said. "Then you knew my father." The man studied him for a long second. Not just his face, his posture, his hands, the way he held himself like he expected something to go wrong at any second. "Walter Boone," the man said finally, extending a hand. Cole didn't take it right away. Then he did. Firm. Quick. No extra motion. "Cole Barrett." Walter nodded once, like that confirmed something he already suspected. "Figured," he said. "You've got his eyes." Cole pulled his hand back. "I doubt that." Walter didn't argue, just stepped aside and gestured toward the open door. "Come in," he said. "No sense talking out here." Cole hesitated. His eyes moved past Walter, scanning the interior in pieces. Corners, doorways, windows, light sources. No sudden movement. No hidden shapes shifting in shadow. Clear enough. He stepped inside. The warmth surprised him. Not just heat, real warmth. A cast-iron stove burned steady in the corner, giving off a soft, constant crackle. The room was bigger than it looked from outside, stretching deeper into the cabin than expected. And it wasn't empty. A cot against one wall. Blankets folded tight. A small table covered in supplies. Bandages, canned food, tools laid out in careful rows. Order, not survival chaos. Not someone barely holding on. Someone maintaining. Cole's eyes narrowed slightly. "You living out here alone?" he asked. Walter closed the door behind them with a solid thud. "Not always," he said. "Depends on the week." Koda moved through the room like it remembered the layout. It sniffed along the edges, then circled once near the stove before settling down, close enough to the heat, but facing the door. Watching. Cole noticed that too. "Dog doesn't act like this is new," he said. "It's not," Walter replied. Cole turned toward him. "What does that mean?" Walter walked over to the table, poured water into a metal cup, then set it down without drinking. "Means your father brought him here," he said simply. "Plenty of times. That landed heavier than it should have." Cole didn't respond. Walter leaned back against the edge of the table, arms crossed loosely. "He used to come up before sunrise," he continued. "Leave before dark. Didn't like anyone knowing where he went." Cole let out a short breath. "Yeah," he said. "That sounds like him." But his voice didn't carry certainty. Walter watched him carefully. You didn't know, he said. It wasn't a question. Cole shook his head once. No, he said. I didn't know anything about this place. Silence settled between them. The stove cracked softly. Wind brushed against the cabin walls. Koda shifted slightly, but didn't lie down fully. Still alert, still listening. Cole's eyes drifted across the room again. The supplies, the extra bedding, boots near the door that didn't belong to Walter. This isn't just your place, he said. Walter gave a small nod. No, he said. It's not. Cole looked back at him. Then what is it? Walter didn't answer right away. Instead, he walked past Cole toward the back of the cabin, paused near a doorway that led into a darker section of the structure. You should see it for yourself, he said. Cole didn't move immediately. His instincts pulled in two directions at once. Stay where you can see everything, or follow the lead. Koda made the choice for him. The dog stood, walked past Cole, and headed straight toward the back room. No hesitation. Cole exhaled slowly. Yeah, he muttered. Figures. He followed. The back room opened wider than expected, and that's when he saw it. More cots, more supplies, signs of people. Not one or two, several. Different sizes, different wear, different lives. Someone had been living here. A lot of someone's. Cole stopped in the doorway. Something inside him shifted again. Not the sharp edge from before. Something deeper. Unsettling in a different way. He turned back toward Walter. What is this place? He asked again, quieter this time. Walter met his eyes. This, he said, is where your father came to be the man he couldn't be anywhere else. The words hung there, heavy. Cole didn't respond. Because for the first time since he'd left the ranch, he didn't have anything ready to say. Cole stood in that doorway longer than he meant to. The room behind Walter wasn't just a place someone passed through. It had weight. Blankets folded tight. Boots lined against the wall in different sizes. A jacket hung on a nail that hadn't moved in a while. People had lived here. Not passing through. Staying. Cole stepped in slowly, boots quiet on the wood floor. His eyes moved across the space, reading it the way he used to read a new AO. Details first, then patterns. No dust on the cots. Recent use. A kettle near the back, still warm to the touch when he brushed it lightly. Someone had been here within hours. He straightened. Where are they? He asked. Walter didn't look concerned. Out, he said. Some working, some hunting, some just getting air. Cole nodded once, but the answer didn't settle right. He stepped back toward the front room, then toward the door, like he needed a different angle on the whole place. Koda followed close this time. Not leading. Staying. That was new. Cole stepped outside. The air felt sharper now. Colder. Or maybe that was just him. He moved off the porch, scanning the tree line again. Same quiet woods. Same stillness. But now he knew better. This place wasn't empty. Which meant someone had found it. Or someone knew it was here. Cole crouched near the edge of the clearing. There. Faint. Tracks. Boot prints again. But fresher than the ones he'd seen coming in. Edges still holding shape. Dirt slightly displaced. Not hours old. Minutes, maybe. His jaw tightened. Koda's ears went up. The dog stepped forward, nose low, following the line of disturbed earth a few yards into the trees before stopping. It didn't bark. It froze. Cole followed, slower now. Each step placed with care. He didn't snap branches, didn't brush against leaves if he could avoid it. The forest closed around them again. He stopped beside Koda. The tracks ended near a cluster of rocks. No. Not ended. Covered. Someone had kicked loose dirt over the last few steps. Sloppy, but intentional. Cole crouched lower, eyes scanning outward, listening. Wind shifted through the trees. Nothing else. But the feeling stayed. That pressure at the back of his neck. Not fear. Contact. Or the edge of it. Koda let out a low, steady growl. Not loud enough to give away position. Just enough to say, not alone. Cole placed a hand lightly on the dog's shoulder. Easy, he murmured. His eyes moved again, left, right, deeper into the woods. He looked for unnatural lines, breaks in pattern, something that didn't belong. There, a flicker. Could have been light through branches. Could have been movement. Gone before he could lock onto it. Cole didn't chase it. Didn't move at all. He stayed where he was, letting the silence stretch. Waiting for the second mistake. None came. After a long minute, he stood slowly. "We're done here," he said under his breath. Koda didn't argue. They moved back toward the cabin together. This time, Cole didn't turn his back fully on the tree line. He angled his path, keeping it in view until the last possible second before stepping back into the clearing. Walter was on the porch now, watching. "You see something?" he asked. Cole stepped up onto the wood, eyes still scanning past him. "Someone's been out there," Cole said. Walter didn't react the way most people would. Didn't ask how sure he was. Didn't look worried. He just nodded. "Yeah," he said. "They come through now and then." Cole turned to him. "They?" he asked. Walter leaned against the railing, gaze drifting toward the same stretch of trees. "Developers, survey crews, sometimes just folks who think there's something out here worth finding." Cole felt something settle into place. Slow, heavy. "Is there?" he asked. Walter looked at him again, this time with something closer to a knowing expression. "That depends," he said, "on what you think worth means." Cole didn't answer. Koda stepped up beside him, brushing lightly against his leg before sitting down. Not tense now, but not relaxed either. Waiting. Always waiting. Cole glanced down at the dog, then back at the forest, then at the cabin, at the cots, at the signs of people who had nowhere else to go. And for the first time since he opened that envelope, the land didn't feel empty anymore. It felt like something someone had been trying to hide or protect. And that made it a whole lot more dangerous than anything he'd expected to find out here. Cole didn't go far from the cabin that afternoon. Not because he trusted it, because he didn't. He circled it once, slow, keeping distance at first, watching angles, checking lines of sight from the tree line to the porch, the kind of quiet perimeter sweep that had kept him alive more than once. Koda stayed close this time, not pulling ahead, not leading, just matching his pace, shoulder to knee every step. That told Cole more than anything Walter had said. Whatever this place was, it wasn't finished revealing itself. The backside of the cabin opened toward a narrow drop, a slope that ran down into thicker forest. Harder terrain, fewer clear paths. Good for hiding. Bad for getting out fast. Cole crouched near the edge, studying the ground. Older tracks layered over newer ones. Not just boots, lighter prints too. Kids maybe, or smaller adults. Mixed movement. No clear pattern. People came and went, but not randomly. He stood and turned back toward the cabin. Walter was splitting wood now, steady rhythm like nothing out here required urgency. Cole watched him for a moment. "You always this calm?" Cole asked. Walter didn't stop swinging the axe. Only when I know where I'm standing, he said. The log split clean. Cole walked closer. You've got people moving through your land, Cole said. Fresh tracks, covered trails. Walter stacked the wood, unbothered. Not my land, he said. Cole's eyes narrowed. Used to be, Walter added. Now it's yours. That didn't sit right. Cole glanced back at the forest again. Then you should care more, he said. Walter finally looked at him. Son, he said, not unkindly. I've been caring about this place longer than you've known it existed. Cole held his gaze. Then tell me what I'm missing. Walter studied him for a second longer, then nodded toward the door. Inside, he said. Cole followed again, slower this time. The warmth hit him harder now, like his body had finally started to feel the cold outside. The stove popped softly, a log settling into place. Walter moved to a shelf along the far wall. Your father didn't build this place for comfort, he said. He built it for function. He pulled down a worn canvas bag, set it on the table, and opened it. Inside, maps, not store-bought, hand-marked. Cole stepped closer. Lines drawn in pencil. Paths through the forest. Markings for water sources. Old trails, new ones, and circles. Multiple. Spread across the land like points on a grid. What is this? Cole asked. Roots, Walter said. Safe ones. Cole leaned in. These go farther than just this property. Walter nodded. Yeah, he said, because this place was never meant to stand alone. That shifted something. Cole's eyes moved across the map again, faster now. Connecting points, entry paths, exit routes, fallback positions. It wasn't random. It was structured, built with intention, like someone had planned for movement or escape. You're telling me my father set this up? Cole asked. Walter didn't answer directly. Instead, he reached into the bag again and pulled out something smaller, a folded piece of paper. He set it down in front of Cole. Cole opened it. A list. Names. Dozens of them. No addresses, no numbers. Just names. Some marked with small symbols beside them. What is this? Cole asked. Walter leaned against the table. People who needed somewhere to land, he said, and didn't have one. Cole's thumb traced one of the names. There was no dollar amount, no notes about payment, just a mark and a line through it. Finished. Handled. Your father didn't keep records the way most men do, Walter said. Didn't care about receipts. Cole swallowed once. His chest felt tighter than it should. Outside, Koda suddenly lifted its head. Ears forward, body rigid. Cole froze. Same instant, same reaction. Walter noticed. What? He asked. Cole didn't answer. He moved toward the door, slower this time. Every step measured. Koda was already standing, facing the trees again. The same direction as before. But this time, it wasn't just watching. It was warning. A low growl rolled through its chest, short, controlled, close, too close. Cole stepped onto the porch. His eyes scanned the tree line. Nothing at first. Then, there. A shape where no shape should be. Still. Too still. Someone standing just beyond the edge of the clearing. Watching. Not moving. Not hiding. Just there. Cole didn't reach for anything this time. He didn't have anything to reach for. Instead, he shifted his stance, putting himself between the cabin and the tree line. Koda stepped forward beside him. The growl deepened. Walter came out behind them. What do you see? He asked quietly. Cole didn't take his eyes off the figure. Company, he said. The figure didn't step closer, didn't speak, but it didn't leave either. Just stood there long enough to make one thing clear. This place wasn't as hidden as it was supposed to be, and whatever had been watching them wasn't done yet. The figure didn't move, not forward, not back. Just stood at the edge of the trees like it belonged there. Cole didn't blink. He tracked it the way he used to track silhouettes through dust and heat, waiting for the smallest shift, the mistake that told you what you were dealing with. Nothing came. Then, just as quietly as it appeared, it stepped back. Gone. Not running. Not panicked. Just gone. Cole stayed where he was, counting. 5 seconds. 10. 15, still nothing. Koda's growl faded, but the dog didn't relax. Its body stayed angled toward the tree line, ears high, listening deeper than Cole could. Walter let out a slow breath behind him. Survey crew, maybe, he said. Or someone looking to buy cheap land. Cole didn't turn around. They don't stand like that, he said. Walter didn't answer, because he knew that was true. Cole stepped off the porch and moved a few yards forward, stopping just short of where the trees began. He didn't cross that line this time, not without knowing more. He crouched briefly, scanning the ground again. No fresh prints, or none that were easy to see. Whoever it was, they knew how to move. Cole stood and backed up slowly. Koda matched him step for step. Inside the cabin, the air felt tighter now, not because anything had changed, because everything had. Cole moved toward the back room again, drawn there without fully deciding to go. His eyes swept across the cots, the supplies, the small personal items left behind. A photograph tucked into the edge of a blanket. A worn boot with the sole half repaired. A jacket patched more times than it should have held together. People lived here. Real people. Not just names on a list. Walter followed him in, slower this time. You get used to it, he said quietly. The watching. Cole didn't respond. His hand brushed lightly against the edge of a table. There. Something else. A notebook. Thicker than the list from before. Older. Cole picked it up. The cover was worn, edges softened from years of use. He opened it carefully. Inside, columns, dates, names again. But this time, details. Roof repair, winter supplies, medical run. Each entry short. Clean. No extra words. Cole flipped a few pages. Every line ended the same way. A blank space where a number should be. Or a dash. Nothing owed. Nothing paid. His jaw tightened. You're telling me he ran all this? Cole asked without looking up. Walter nodded once. Every morning he could, he said. Before the suits. Before the meetings. Before that other life swallowed him up again. Cole turned another page. More names. Some repeated. Different dates. Different needs. Same result. Handled. His fingers stopped on one entry. Transport. Winter storm. The date hit him. He remembered that storm. The one that shut down half the county. He'd been overseas then. Didn't know his father had been out here. Moving people. Keeping them alive. Cole closed the notebook halfway. His chest felt tight again, but different this time. Not pressure. Something heavier. Koda moved closer and sat beside him. Not watching the door now. Watching him. Cole glanced down. The dog's eyes were steady. Familiar. Like it had seen all of this before. Of course it had. You were here, Cole muttered. Koda didn't move. Didn't need to. Walter leaned against the doorway. He trusted that dog more than most people, he said. Took him on every run, every trip out here. Cole let out a slow breath. Yeah, he said quietly. I'm starting to see that. He flipped the notebook closed and set it back down, but his hand lingered on it a second longer than necessary. Outside, the wind shifted again. The cabin creaked softly. Koda's ears twitched, just slightly. Cole noticed. Always did. Still out there, Cole said. Walter didn't ask how he knew, Probably, he said. Cole stood up. His eyes moved around the room again, but this time not searching for danger. Mapping, understanding. This wasn't just a cabin. It was a system, a pattern, a routine built over years, quiet, hidden, and now exposed. Cole walked back toward the front of the cabin and stopped near the door. His reflection stared back at him faintly in the glass. Dust, fatigue, something else behind his eyes he hadn't seen in a long time. Purpose. He looked down at Koda, then back toward the trees. Whatever this is, Cole said under his breath, it's not over. Koda shifted its weight slightly, staying close. Ready. Because somewhere beyond those trees, someone else had just realized the same thing. The light inside the cabin dimmed as evening crept in. Cole didn't turn on another lamp. He let the shadows stretch. It made it easier to see movement outside. Walter busied himself near the stove, quiet, deliberate. Not nervous, not rushed. Like this, whatever it was, had happened before. Cole stayed near the back room. The notebook sat where he'd left it. He picked it up again. Slower this time. Not scanning. Reading. Each line was simple. No extra words, no explanations. Just what was needed, and the mark that said it had been done. No charge, no debt. No record anyone outside this room would ever find. Cole flipped deeper into the pages. Older entries. The handwriting slightly different. Firmer at first, then gradually heavier, like the hand behind it had started carrying more than it could. He stopped. One entry caught him. Evac. Night run. No details. Just that. The date sat there like a trigger. Cole didn't notice his grip tightening until the paper creased slightly under his fingers. Night run. The words pulled something loose. Dark. Heat. The low hum of engines cutting out. Boots hitting dirt too fast. A voice, sharp, urgent. Move! Move! Cole blinked. The cabin snapped back into place around him. But the sound stayed. Not outside. Inside. Koda moved immediately. The dog pressed in close, shoulder against Cole's leg, grounding him before the spiral could take hold. Cole exhaled hard, dragging himself back. Yeah, he muttered under his breath. I'm here. Koda stayed there, didn't move away. Walter glanced over but didn't interrupt. He'd seen it before. Cole turned another page. More entries. More lives. Supply drop, winter. Medical, infection. Transport. 2 kids. Each one ended the same way. Nothing owed. Nothing expected. Cole's throat tightened slightly. His father had been here. Not once, not twice. Over and over again. Building something no one else ever saw and never saying a word about it. Cole shut the notebook halfway, then opened it again like he wasn't ready to let it go just yet. You knew all this, he said quietly. Walter nodded. Some of it, he said. Not all. Your father didn't talk much. Just did the work. Cole let out a breath. Yeah, he said. That part tracks. His fingers moved to the edge of another page. Something thicker was tucked between them. Not part of the notebook. Cole slid it free. A loose sheet. Different paper. Folded twice. He hesitated, then opened it. Inside. A list. Shorter this time. Names again, but only a few. Marked differently. Not crossed out. Not finished. Waiting. Cole frowned. What's this? He asked. Walter stepped closer, glanced at it. People your father couldn't get to in time, he said. That landed hard. Cole swallowed once. The cabin felt quieter. He folded the paper back slowly, more careful than before. Set it down beside the notebook. Koda shifted again, lowering itself to the floor but keeping its head up, eyes still tracking the room. Always watching. Cole leaned back against the table. His gaze drifted toward the front of the cabin, toward the door, toward the trees beyond it. Then back to the notebook. All those names, all those lives. Handled, carried, protected. Without anyone ever knowing. His chest tightened again. But this time, it wasn't the same kind of pressure. It wasn't memory. It was realization. Cole ran a hand over his face, slower now. You ever think, he said quietly, maybe I didn't know him at all? Walter didn't answer right away. He looked at the notebook, then at Cole. Most men have more than one life, he said. Your father just kept his better one hidden. Cole let that sit. Didn't argue. Didn't agree. He just stood there, staring at the pages of a life he'd never been part of. Outside, the wind picked up again. Branches shifted. Something creaked in the distance. Koda's ears lifted. Cole noticed. He always did. Still out there, Cole said. Walter nodded once. Yeah, he said. And now they've got a reason to stay. Cole looked back at the notebook one last time, then closed it fully. Set it down. Whatever this place was, whatever his father had built, it wasn't just a secret anymore. It was a target, and for the first time since stepping into that cabin, Cole understood one thing clearly. This wasn't about what he inherited. It was about what he'd just stepped into. Night came fast in the mountains. By the time the last light slipped behind the ridge, the cabin sat in a pocket of darkness, broken only by the stove's glow and a single lantern near the table. Cole didn't sleep. He sat in the chair closest to the door, body angled, boots planted, listening the way he used to on long nights when quiet didn't mean safe. Koda lay near his feet. Not asleep. Never fully asleep. Every few minutes, the dog's ears would twitch, tracking something distant, something Cole couldn't always hear but felt anyway. Walter had turned in hours ago, or at least, he'd gone still. Cole didn't assume sleep. Not out here. The wind shifted sometime after midnight. Colder. Sharper. It carried a different sound this time. Not branches. Not animals. Something dragging lightly across wood. Cole's eyes opened fully. Koda was already up. Head low. Body tense. The sound came again. Soft. Close. Underneath them. Cole moved. Slow. Controlled. He slid out of the chair without a sound, every step placed with intention as he crossed the floor. His hand hovered near his side again. Same empty reach, same missing weight. Didn't matter. He adjusted. Always did. Koda moved ahead of him, nose down, tracking the source. The sound stopped. Silence pressed in. Cole crouched, listening. Nothing. Then, Koda pawed once at the floor, right near the back corner of the cabin. Not random. Focused. Cole frowned, shifting closer. He ran his hand along the boards, feeling for anything out of place. There, a slight gap. Older wood meeting newer reinforcement. He pressed down. Nothing. Koda pawed again. Harder this time. Impatient. All right, Cole murmured. He moved to the table, grabbed a small pry bar leaning against the wall, and came back. Careful. Slow pressure. The board lifted just enough to break the seal. A faint hollow echoed beneath it. Cole paused. Listened. No movement outside. No reaction. Good. He lifted the board fully. Beneath it, a metal container. Old military green, edges worn. Latch secured but not locked. Cole stared at it for a second, then opened it. Inside. Documents. Stacks of them. Neatly wrapped. Protected. Not something thrown together, something prepared. Cole pulled one out, unfolded it. His eyes moved quickly. Land maps. Not just this area. The entire region. Highlighted zones, marked sections, and right in the center, the exact coordinates of this cabin. Circled. He reached for another. Blueprints, development plans, high-end structures, roads, access routes, a resort. Big, expensive, very expensive. Cole's jaw tightened. He flipped to the final page. Estimated value, $150 million. He sat back slightly. Didn't react right away. Didn't need to. It clicked. All of it. The watchers. The tracks. The way the figure had stood earlier, not lost, not curious, knowing they weren't wandering out here. They were looking. For this. Koda shifted closer, pressing against his leg again. Grounding. Cole reached back into the container. There. One more item. Different. An envelope. Worn. His name on the front. Handwritten. He didn't open it immediately. His thumb ran along the edge instead, feeling the weight of it. Walter's voice came quietly from behind him. You found it, he said. Cole didn't turn around. Yeah, he replied. Walter stepped closer but didn't look inside the box. He didn't need to. He planned for this, Walter said. Long time ago. Cole glanced back at him. Planned what? He asked. Walter met his eyes. For you to find it before they did. That settled in heavy. Cole looked back down at the envelope. At his name. At the handwriting he hadn't seen up close in years. The cabin creaked softly around them. Outside, the wind carried through the trees again. But now it didn't sound empty. It sounded like something circling, waiting. Cole exhaled slowly. Then finally, he broke the seal. And whatever was written inside was about to change everything. Cole unfolded the letter slowly. The paper crackled in the quiet cabin, louder than it should have been. Koda pressed closer against his leg. Walter didn't move. Cole read. The handwriting was steady, familiar. No hesitation in the lines. Cole, if you're reading this, it means you found the place. Means Koda did his job. Cole's jaw tightened slightly. He kept reading. I wasn't there when you needed me. No way around that. I chose work. I chose distance. And I told myself it was for you. That I was building something you could stand on one day. Cole swallowed once. Outside, the wind hit the side of the cabin harder. He didn't look up. I was wrong about most things that mattered. But not this one. This place, this land. It's the only thing I made that doesn't belong to anyone who can put a price on it. Cole's grip on the paper tightened. Behind him, Walter shifted slightly, but stayed quiet. I gave Diane everything else. The house, the company, the accounts. All of it is tied to debt you won't see until it's too late. It looks like wealth. It isn't. Cole's eyes flicked briefly to the metal box beside him. To the maps, the plans. It all lined up. They'll come for this land, the letter continued. Not because of what it is now, because of what it sits on. I made sure it stayed separate. Quiet. In your name. Cole exhaled slowly. The pieces locked into place. The watchers, the tracks, the figure in the trees. They'll offer you more money than you've ever seen. Enough to fix everything. Enough to forget this place ever existed. The wind outside dropped suddenly. Too quiet. Cole's head lifted slightly. Koda stood, ears forward, body tense. Cole didn't stop reading. If you sell it, I won't blame you. I don't get to ask anything from you anymore. But if you keep it, then you're choosing something I never had the courage to hold on to. Cole's throat tightened. His eyes slowed on the final lines. This place isn't land. It's people. And if you're standing there, you already know that. Signed. Just Dad. Cole lowered the paper. Didn't speak. Didn't move. The cabin felt smaller. Quieter. He folded the letter once, carefully this time. Then again. Koda let out a sharp bark. One. Close. Cole snapped his head toward the door. Too late. A metallic snap cracked from outside, followed immediately by a sharp yelp. Koda bolted forward, but stumbled. Hard. Cole was already moving. He reached the door in 2 steps, threw it open. Koda lay just beyond the threshold. One front leg caught in a wire snare, pulled tight around the joint. Blood already darkening the fur. The dog didn't cry out again, just strained against it, trying to get free. Cole dropped to his knees beside it. Easy, easy, he muttered, hands already working. His fingers moved fast, controlled. Find the tension point. Don't cut blind. He traced the wire, found the anchor stake driven deep into the ground. Not old. Recently set. Someone set this, Cole said under his breath. Walter was beside him now. I didn't put that there, he said. Cole didn't look up. Yeah, he replied. I know. Koda tried to pull again. Cole pressed a firm hand against its shoulder. Hold, he said quietly. The dog froze. Just like that. Training. Trust. Cole reached for the small knife clipped inside his boot. The blade came free in one smooth motion. He angled it carefully under the wire. One wrong cut, and it would tighten. He adjusted. Changed angle. Cut. The wire snapped loose. Koda jerked back, free, but the leg gave out immediately. Cole caught it before it hit the ground. Stay down, he said. The dog didn't fight him. Cole's hands moved again, checking the wound, clearing debris, applying pressure with a strip torn from his sleeve. Blood slowed, not deep enough to cripple, but bad enough. Bad enough to hurt. Koda's breathing stayed steady, eyes locked on Cole, waiting for the next command. Cole exhaled slowly. You're good, he said quietly. You're good. But his eyes lifted toward the trees. the same direction, the same place. Only now, it wasn't just watching. It had acted. Walter stood beside him, gaze hard. "They're testing you," he said. Cole nodded once, still crouched beside the dog. "Yeah," he said. His grip tightened slightly on the blood-stained cloth. The letter still folded in his pocket. The map still open inside. The number $150 million burning in the back of his mind. Everything had a price. That's what his father had written between the lines. Cole looked down at Koda, at the wound, at the dog that had led him here, and taken the hit first. Then he looked back at the forest. His voice came low, flat, controlled. Not this, and for the first time since he opened that envelope, Cole Barrett knew exactly what he was going to do. Morning didn't come quiet. It came with engines. Low at first. Distant, then closer. Steady, controlled, not local traffic. Cole was already awake. He hadn't slept much. Koda lay near the stove, leg wrapped tight, breathing slow but shallow. Every now and then, the dog's ears twitched, still tracking, still working through the pain. Cole sat near the door, boots on, jacket pulled tight. Waiting. Walter stepped in from the back room, already dressed. "You hear that?" he asked. Cole nodded once. "Yeah." The engines cut. Silence followed, then doors opening. Footsteps. More than one. Cole stood. His body shifted into that same familiar alignment. Weight balanced, shoulders angled, eyes already mapping exits. Koda pushed itself up. The injured leg trembled, but it stood anyway. Cole glanced down. "Stay," he said quietly. The dog didn't. It moved beside him. Of course it did. A knock came at the door. Polite, measured. Not a threat, not yet. Cole opened it. 3 men stood on the porch. Clean boots, clean jackets, no dust on them. One of them stepped forward, offering a hand. "Mr. Barrett," he said with a practiced smile. "We were hoping we'd find you out here." Cole didn't take the hand. The man lowered it without losing the smile. "We represent a development group with interest in this region," he continued. "We believe you recently came into ownership of this property." Cole said nothing. The man glanced briefly at Koda, noting the bandage, then back to Cole. "We'd like to make you an offer." Cole leaned lightly against the doorframe. "Go ahead," he said. The man reached into his coat and pulled out a folder, opened it, turned it so Cole could see. A number sat on the page, large, clean, more than enough to erase everything behind him, more than enough to never worry again. Cole looked at it, didn't react. Behind the man, a second car door opened. Cole's eyes flicked past them, and then Diane Barrett stepped out. Same posture, same control. But something in her face had shifted. Less certain, more urgent. She walked up the steps without waiting to be invited. "Cole," she said. He didn't move. "They told me you were here," she added. "We need to talk." The man with the folder stepped back, giving her space. Cole glanced between them, then back to her. "You already said everything you needed to say," he replied. Diane shook her head. "No," she said. "I didn't." She stepped closer. Not too close. Still careful. "You don't understand what you're holding," she said, voice lower now. "That land, it's not just land. It's leverage. It's the only piece left that can fix what your father left behind." Cole's expression didn't change. "I read the numbers," he said. Diane's jaw tightened. "Then you know what's at stake," she said. The company is collapsing. The ranch is already leveraged. If this deal doesn't go through, everything goes. Cole held her gaze. That sounds like your problem, he said. For a moment, something cracked through her composure. Just a flicker. Then it was gone. I'm asking you, she said. Take the offer. Walk away clean. You don't need this place. Behind him, Koda shifted, stepped forward, positioned itself between Cole and the edge of the porch, not aggressive, but blocking. The men noticed. Cole noticed. Diane did too. Her eyes flicked down to the dog, then back up. You're really going to throw all of this away? She asked quietly. For a broken-down cabin in the woods? Cole didn't answer right away. He looked at the folder again, at the number, at everything it could erase. Then he looked past it, inside the cabin. The cots, the supplies, the notebook, the names. Then down at Koda. Standing there, legs shaking slightly, still holding position, still choosing him. Cole exhaled slowly. Yeah, he said. The man with the folder straightened slightly. I'm sorry, he asked. Cole stepped forward just enough to close the distance. Not for sale, he said. The smile on the man's face didn't drop, but it changed. Less friendly, more calculated. You should take time to think about that, he said. I already did. Diane stared at him. You're making a mistake, she said. Cole shook his head once. No, he said. I'm fixing one. Silence stretched across the porch. Wind moved through the trees behind them. The men exchanged a look. Diane's expression hardened again, but this time, it didn't carry the same certainty. She turned without another word, walked back toward the car. The man with the folder closed it slowly. This opportunity won't come twice, he said. Cole didn't respond. The men stepped off the porch. Engines started again. Vehicles turned, drove off. The sound faded into the distance. Cole stood there a moment longer, then stepped back inside. Koda followed. Lower this time, favoring the injured leg, but still walking, still there. Cole closed the door, locked it, for the first time since he arrived, not to keep something out, but to protect what was inside. And whatever came next, he knew one thing for certain. They weren't going to stop. Neither was he. The first truck showed up just after sunrise. Old Ford, rust along the wheel wells, engine louder than it needed to be. Cole heard it before he saw it. He was already outside. Koda lay near the porch, head up, watching the road. The bandage on its leg had been redone, cleaner this time. The limp was still there, but lighter. The truck rolled into the clearing and stopped. A man stepped out. Mid-50s, weathered face, hands that looked like they'd worked longer than they'd rested. He didn't approach right away, just stood there, looking at the cabin, at Cole, at Koda. You Barrett's boy? He called out. Cole nodded once. The man walked closer. Your dad fixed my roof 2 winters back, he said. Storm took half of it clean off. He showed up before the county even cleared the roads. Cole didn't say anything. The man reached into his jacket and pulled out an envelope, held it out. Figured it's time I returned the favor. Cole looked at it, didn't take it yet. Behind the first truck, another engine, then another. Cole turned. More vehicles. Different kinds. Different ages. They came in slow, one by one, parking along the edge of the clearing. People stepped out, some older, some younger. A woman with a thick coat and tired eyes. A man missing part of his hand. A kid carrying a toolbox bigger than he was. They didn't speak much at first. Just moved. Quiet. Purposeful. The first man set the envelope down on the porch rail when Cole didn't take it. "Roof needs work," he said, nodding upward. "Saw it on the way in." Cole followed his gaze. He hadn't noticed. Now he did. A weak section near the back. Water damage starting to creep in. The man nodded toward his truck. "Got shingles," he added. Another voice spoke up from behind. "Brought lumber," someone else said. "Got tools," another added. The woman stepped forward. "Food," she said simply, lifting a small crate. Cole stood there. Didn't move. Didn't speak. The clearing filled with motion. People unloading. Carrying. Setting things down like they already knew where everything belonged. Walter stepped out onto the porch beside Cole. Took it all in. Then gave a small nod. "Told you," he said quietly. Cole's eyes moved across the crowd. These weren't strangers. Not really. Not anymore. They were the names in the book, the lines in the ledger, the ones his father had carried, coming back. Koda pushed itself up again, slow, careful, but determined. It walked out past Cole, into the clearing. The people noticed, one by one. Their expressions shifted. Recognition. Respect. The dog that had been there, that had seen it all. Koda stopped near the center, sat, watching. Cole stepped down off the porch, boots hitting dirt. The first man picked up the envelope again, held it out once more. Cole took it this time, opened it. Cash. Not enough to change a life, but enough to matter. More envelopes followed, set down on the porch, on the table inside. No one counted. No one asked. They just gave. Cole looked around again. The cabin, the people, the work already starting. Then back toward the trees, still watching, still waiting. But different now. Because this time, they weren't alone. Cole exhaled slowly, turned back toward the cabin. "There's a sign in the truck," he said to Walter. Walter raised an eyebrow. "What kind of sign?" Cole glanced at him, then toward Koda, then at the people. "New one," he said. Later that day, the old, faded wood above the cabin door came down. Cole stood on a ladder, hammer in hand. The new board went up. Clean, simple, hand-painted. Barrett Refuge. He stepped down, looked at it. Didn't say anything. Koda lay near the steps, head resting on its paws, eyes half closed, but still watching, always watching. The limp would stay. Cole knew that. A reminder of the cost, of the choice. As the sun dropped behind the mountains, the cabin filled with sound. Voices, work, life. Cole stood in the doorway, one hand resting lightly on the frame. For the first time in a long time, he didn't feel like he was passing through. He stepped inside, left the door open. And behind him, the land didn't feel empty anymore. It felt like something worth staying for. If this story meant something to you, I want to hear from you. Just type 1 in the comments if you believe some things are worth more than money. Or type 0 if you think Cole should have taken the deal. No long comments needed, just one number. And if you want more stories like this, stories about second chances, loyalty, and the choices that change everything, make sure you subscribe, because the next story might stay with you even longer than this one.